Yeah, upgrades for view from the top of the goalpost. That's what we got this year. 2024 upgrades.
And our number one fan, excited that we heard us multiple times in the last week. Hi, Tom.
Oh, Tom, you're the best.
Welcome to View from the Top of the Goalpost, Week 1 edition. That's right. This is our fifth day in a row that we've been uploaded.
No, sixth.
Well, I mean, that's a lot of days.
4 divisions with AFC or West, North, East, and South, and then the playoff Super Bowl award show.
Well, that was preseason. Yeah, you're right. I should have known. We recorded 5 episodes last week. We did them daily, though. As we said in the episode, we definitely did not sit and take about 4 hours to record all those and get done into the next day. But
liars.
That did not happen.
No.
But it is week 1 of the NFL season. I'm excited. I think that before I forget, we might as well get into last season's records because I'm thinking about it right now. And unfortunately, I did not record our playoff records because we weren't recording. And I know that we talked about them and we texted back and forth, but just didn't do it. So I don't have playoff records from last season. But overall, I won again. So I'm 2-0 for the seasons. I had 174, 102. I had an epic comeback, and then I ended up slaughtering you because you ended up with 166 and 110. I don't know what happened at the end of the year. Both finished over 60%, though.
We're pretty good at picking
63,
games.
You were right at 60. And that brings our overall record. I am 337 and 193. And you are 323 and 207. And once again, our records, I'm at 63% and you're at 60. So that's not bad.
Good thing I'm going undefeated this year. Not getting a game wrong all year.
I mean, it starts right now. So
skewing the metric.
I'm excited. This week is nuts because it's the first week. This is the hardest week to choose like who's going to win because you're going off of preseason results, what teams did last year, and all of that actually doesn't matter because once the ball is kicked off, everything is thrown out the window. It's a new season, and we're going to probably get a lot wrong this week. At least I am. Chad's going undefeated. But I'm going to get a lot wrong because of the fact that I just don't know what's going to happen. And I feel like a lot of these teams are evenly matched in a weird way. There's not many division games to start out the season either. But one thing I do like is we don't have a double Monday night doubleheader. So I am happy.
We have a ton throughout the season, though. Did you look through it? There's a ton of double Monday night headers this year.
I did not look at that. I decided I'm not a fan of. I just like having the one game on Monday night, but I am a fan of having this game on Friday night that we're gonna be talking about in a little bit. Not just because of who's playing, but just because it's Friday night and we get to watch NFL football. So yeah, should we get into it? Or is there any other housekeeping we need to take care of? Or
I probably should have written down what I went for with my locks last year, but definitely completely forgot. So maybe next week I'll give an overall statistics on what I did for my locks. But at this week, I'm starting 0-0, baby, and I'm going undefeated.
This is the man that says before we start recording that he's the most prepared he's ever been.
Hey, I have all my locks written down for this week, just not things from last year, all right? Oh. This is still the most prepared I've probably ever been.
Fair enough. I mean, you didn't set a high bar for yourself. So anyways, starting with the very first game of the season, the NFL kickoff game on Thursday at 7:20 p.m. Remember, Central Time. If you don't remember, that's where we live, and that's the time I go by because the time I'm going to be watching the game. It is the 0-0 Baltimore Ravens traveling to the defending two-time Super Bowl champs, Kansas City Chiefs. And the Chiefs are favored by 3. Over-under is 47. And the Yahoo fan vote has 76% going towards Kansas City. I guess it's fan distribution is what that they changed that this year. So I actually like that, and I should remember to say that because I always get confused on what I should say there. So the fan distribution is 76%. Kansas City. I already know who you're going with because of who's playing in this game, but I want to hear like some reasons why. So tell me
All right.
why.
So, fun fact, folks, before anything is done, the Baltimore Ravens lock of the week is dead. Not doing it this year at all. I'm not. I'm promising you this isn't a swerve where after I say I'm picking the Ravens, which I'm clearly doing, I'm picking the Ravens to win this game. But I'm not at the end going to go, swerve, Baltimore Ravens lock of the week. We're not doing that this year. There's something new that I'm going to do, and it's not for this game. I will give you a lock for this game. The lock for this game is the under. Because 47, I know it's been climbing, but it's supposed to be a rainy game. It is opening night, and both of these defenses are stingy AF. The reason I am picking Baltimore to win this game is purely based on revenge. And I think the Super Bowl champ is like 60% of a winner, like since they started always opening with the Super Bowl champ on this Thursday night game. I don't care. I think Kansas City is going to struggle a little bit in the early times. Their wide receivers might not be right on top of it. And I just think Baltimore is a better team. I really do. I think that this game will be low scoring, and I think it will be a slobberfest? Nope, definitely not. Slobber knocker is the term I wanted to use right there. But yeah, taking Baltimore. And with a bonus lock of the week, I will be taking the under 47.
I am also going with Baltimore, and for some of the reasons you said, another reason is Kansas City doesn't need to win this game. Breaking news: Kansas City Chiefs have already won this division, according to me. I mean, according to Chad, it's not going to happen. But I mean, I feel like the Chiefs are going to make the playoffs whether they win this game or whether they don't. Baltimore needs this game more because I think they lose this game and they start off. I mean, it's a molehill, but I mean, it's a little bit of a hill, and you don't want to start your season off that way, especially after losing at home in the AFC Championship and putting like bringing Derrick Henry in and changing up defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator and doing everything that I guess they didn't change up offense. That was last year, but still, you want to start on a good note, and I think that coming in here and smacking Kansas City right in the mouth and doing it back-to-back years, because that's another thing. People are like, well, Kansas City's not going to lose back-to-back years at home on Thursday night opener. It's like, why not? I don't see why not. Like, I feel like you're right. Overall, when you put talent versus talent, I think there's more talent on the Baltimore side than there is Kansas City. Even though a lot of that talent comes from two players on Kansas City's offense. I mean, there's a lot of talent on the defense. The offense, there's some question marks, and there's some people that are like definitely rising stars. But you're talking about Kelsey and Mahomes, they're pretty much the most talented. But yeah, I got Baltimore just because I think they are the better team. And if it is raining, they're going to be probably running the ball a lot more. And who's the better team to run the ball? That would be Baltimore. So, boom, lock it in.
Don't get me wrong. I love me some Isaiah Pacheco, the angriest runner I've ever seen. I've never seen someone look like they're more pissed off at the ground when they run the ball than Isaiah Pacheco. But yeah, I'll give me Derrick Henry. That's another reason that I'm taking the under in this game. Even if it wasn't a rain game, both of these teams, I think this year, especially to start the season, are going to want to hammer the rock. Like, they're going to want to get these offensive lines going and once again, these young wide receiver cores that they have settle into the game. Like, rely on your running game and your tight ends. That's what both of these teams want to do, and their defenses, which leads me to low scoring game. But I love the Ravens in this game.
I am excited to see Xavier Worthy play, just because I'm excited, like, not just in this game, but all season long. I want to see if he can create some chemistry with Patrick Mahomes and maybe
Tyreek Hill effect again.
Yeah, a new threat in Kansas City. And then Everybody will be scared again. It's weird that just like last year, people aren't really scared of Kansas City. Like they're there, but I mean, they got you
They're
last year.
Kansas City.
Like,
They're just basically like the boogeyman who's always there at this point, where we just have stopped talking about it. Where you know that no matter what, I think Tom Grossi said it best in his like every fan's reaction video when he was like, "Oh, you guys care about this? There's 18 more games of preseason before we get to the regular season. Like they don't care about the regular season. As long as I get to the postseason, that's all that matters to the Chiefs and Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce at this point. All right, they're two-time Super Bowl champs. As annoying as it is, that's really just the way the cookie crumbles.
next game, as I said earlier, we have a Friday night game, and that is at 7:15 p.m. on Peacock. Remember, you gotta have that streaming app to watch football, and a lot of people are upset about it. And I know why people are upset about it. It doesn't bother me because all the apps that they use, I'm already paying for, so it's a weird, like if I wasn't paying for it, I'd probably be like on the same side as these people. But like I already have Peacock, I got Netflix, I got Amazon Prime, I got ESPN. It's what do you want me to do? Anyways,
Doesn't bother me one iota.
It is the Green Bay mother loving Packers. I mean, this game is also, I forgot to say, is in Sao Paulo, Brazil.
No green stuff.
It's the Green Bay mother loving Packers traveling to Sao Paulo, Brazil to face the home team, Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are favored by 2.5 with a 48.5 point over under and 77% fan distribution for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I am going Green Bay.
What?
Oh yeah, why not? I just feel like it's gonna be a good game. I am worried. I am worried about the defense of Green Bay because new defensive coordinator, new system. It should be great with all those first round picks that they have. But and I'm worried about kicker. But I do think there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game. So I'm looking at like this game is going to be a shootout, and whoever has the ball last. And I think it's going to be Green Bay. And I think that we're going to lean on Braden Narvison, and he's going to kick his first game-winning field goal to win this game. And the Packers are going to go home happy and send the Eagles back to Philadelphia with their dysfunctional quarterback and coach. And yeah, I don't really have much more to say because I am also worried that this game's too 50-50 for me. Like on paper, like there's too many things that match up with each other that it's kind of a perfect matchup for week one. And I can see why they picked this game. And yeah, but go Pack, go.
Honestly, I'm also taking the Green Bay Packers. And as a bonus lock of the week, please give me those points. I love the Green Bay Packers money line, honestly, but if you don't feel comfortable enough with that, take the points because I don't think the Packers lose by more than a field goal. Like, I think this is a game that comes down to maybe even a 2-point conversion. Someone goes for it at the very end just to really try and win a game here. It's first game of the year, like just really hammer home that we're going for it all this year. But I think the Packers got this game. The number one weakness of the Philadelphia Eagles, and I know that they drafted and picked some people up, but it was their secondary. And just because you drafted some guys doesn't mean that these rookies are just going to slot right in and suddenly just fix all of your woes. You also have a brand new defensive coordinator, and you're going against the Green Bay mother-loving Packers, who have a just ridiculous wide receiver room. Like, who the heck are you? You can't double anyone, because if you double one guy, then you leave another guy open for just running straight down the field. They're all real fast, and it just I just can't see Philadelphia winning this game. And I'm very down on Philadelphia this year. I think losing both the centers of your defense and your offense is really, really going to hurt. And I think we really see the tush push fall completely apart this year. And I know they got Saquon Barkley, but folks, Saquon Barkley is not the Saquon Barkley he was when he first came to the Giants. All right. Injuries and playing for the Giants have already seemingly hurt that man a lot. And I really hope he does have a great year, but I just don't believe in the Eagles this year. So give me the Green Bay Packers. And as another bonus primetime lock, I will be taking those points and actually going with the money line on the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, and to your point about the new coordinator for Philadelphia, they actually got a new offensive and defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio on defense, who is on his third team in 3 years. And then also Kellen Moore, also on his third team in 3 years. So, I mean, I like Kellen Moore. I have spoken highly about him on this show before. And last year, he was under Brandon Staley. I think that he got scapegoated in Dallas. So maybe he can do something here in Philadelphia, and who knows. But as far as Vic Fangio, I kind of think he's washed. I think people have figured out his defense, which once was revolutionary, and now he has so many disciples in the league that it just everybody knows how to play against this defense, and I don't think
basically the base defense of the NFL now.
What was that?
I said it's basically the base defense of the NFL, that there's so many people who have coached under Vic Fangio or studied Vic Fangio's system that, yeah, everyone just knows it. It's like, oh, it's your puke play. Just go back to it.
All right, well, now we have a game on Sunday at noon. I'll be sitting in my recliner watching Red Zone, so I'll definitely be catching this game. This game is another game I don't know who to pick. It is the Carolina Panthers traveling to the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans is favored by 42-point over-under, and the fan distribution, 92% for New Orleans. And, it seems like it should be a no-brainer to take New Orleans. They're at home and everything like that. And Carolina had an awful year, and there's no way to go for Carolina but up. But I think if they do go up, it's going to be more of a second half of the season kind of thing. I don't think they're going to win this game. I don't think New Orleans is going to be very good this year. I just think that, stacking talent versus talent again, I think New Orleans wins because I think Chris Olave puts them over the top, to be honest with you. I think they have a better offensive attack. I'm going New Orleans.
And we have our first disagreement of the year, Diesel. Because you know what? I believe in Bryce Young. And I think that they've had this whole offseason to really figure some things out. I don't think that the Carolina Panthers are very good this year at all. But I do think they win some games. And I think New Orleans is going to be firing Dennis Allen by the time Thanksgiving comes around. Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah.
And I just had a brain fart for a second. I was like, crap, did I forget? I say the wrong name, but I didn't. But I think he's fired by Thanksgiving. And I think this is one thing they point to is losing the opener at home to Carolina. And they're division foes, so they know this team really well. And I think Carolina is going to come in here very hungry, very pissed off over how last year went. And I think they're going to start the year on a high note and then get punched in the face a whole bunch. But, punch back a couple times. But give me Carolina in this game.
Next game at noon on Sunday, we have the Tennessee Titans traveling to the Chicago Bears. Chicago is favored by 45-point over-under. Fan distribution has Chicago at 84%. And another game where I feel like it could go either way. But who do you have in this game?
I'm actually going to agree with the fan vote for once. Generally, I tend to go against the majority, but I agree with them. Chicago, I think they're not a good team at all. But I think playing at home, playing against Tennessee, who, yeah, they have a solid defensive line, but I don't think they have enough on defense and offense together to keep this Chicago team from at least accumulating enough points to win. Yeah, this Chicago offensive line, I feel like, will leak like a sieve, but Caleb Williams will have enough running around to get the ball to these young receivers and Keenan Allen that, yeah, I like the Chicago wide receivers more than I like the Tennessee wide receivers, which is crazy. And I don't know if Hopkins is playing or not, to be honest.
Last I looked, he was still questionable, but I think like he's leaning towards not playing. Like that's what it looks like. It was leaning towards, but I haven't checked like in the last couple of days. I did draft him on one of my fantasy teams. That's the only reason I know. But
and also, once again, the Mayo Man, just it's not my cup of tea or my cup of coffee or my energy drink. Just don't dig the dude. So give me Chicago.
I'm also taking Chicago. It's a home game. They have all this hype going into the season with Caleb Williams and Adunze. They're at home. I think there's gonna be a buzz in the air. They're facing a better matchup than last year than facing Green Bay when they had this same kind of buzz in the air, except Green Bay was just a better team, way better team. I think that Tennessee might actually be a worse team than Chicago overall. New head coach in Tennessee. Tennessee has a lot going for them. This is a make or break season for Eberflus, and Eberflus is also a defensive coach. I think that that's also gonna like help the Bears out in this game because once again, like you don't know what you're gonna have with the mailman. It doesn't look like Hopkins is gonna play. It's you got Tony Pollard, which I'm excited about actually for him to see what he can do in Tennessee because I do like Tony Pollard, but I just don't think they have a very good team. And I think that the Bears are gonna win this one for sure. Next game at noon, we have a division matchup with the Houston Texans traveling to the Indianapolis Colts. Houston is favored by 3 with a 49-point over-under, and 85% of the fan distribution goes to Houston. And I am also taking Houston, even though I feel like Indy could definitely win this game at home, no doubt. It seems like Houston and Indy like start the season together like every year, isn't it? It's weird.
It is weird,
but I don't know. I feel like all the things that I said about Houston last year and the sophomore slump and everything like that, I think like signs are gonna show. I think that they're going to overcome it in this game. I think it's going to be more of a defensive effort, even though I don't know what I'm thinking. I just like Houston in this game. The Colts, even though they do have Jonathan Taylor and Pittman is a beast, Anthony Richardson is still a question mark for me just because of his health, not because of his talent. I really think that he is a good quarterback, and if he could stay healthy, will definitely make a difference for this team. I just don't feel safe picking Indianapolis at this point just because I just want to make sure that the guy's good to play, So I got Houston.
And with our second disagreement of the brand new season, and funny enough, Diesel, as I look through all of the rest of the games on the slate, there's only 2 division games this entire weekend. And the 2 games that we've disagreed on so far are the only 2 division games, because give me those Indianapolis Colts at home in the Dome. Oh, who's the third?
Las Vegas and Chargers.
Oh, yep, I missed one. Sorry. Fine. I thought
we're going to disagree on that one as well.
Probably not. Let's go though back to the Indianapolis Colts at home. Folks, I disagree with Diesel in the fact that I don't think a lot of defense is going to be played in this game. With the first bronze lock of the year, am taking the over in this game. And I don't care if it gets up to like 52. I am still going to take this over because I think this game might be like 35-28 or 31-28 or something of that nature. I see them scoring close to 60 points or more in this game. There's a lot of offense. I think Josh Downs is supposed to play for Indy. Houston wants to come out and set a message to get the season going. And just, they're playing in the dome. It's those games generally in domes tend to be higher scoring affairs. And I can just see Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor just going blow for blow with CJ Stroud and Tank Dell and all of them just putting up points left and right. But I think that I think Indy wins this game on, either a last second field goal or a last second touchdown. I do think it comes down to the final possession though.
All right, well, next game we have at noon Sunday, the Arizona Cardinals traveling to the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are favored by 6.5 with a 48 over under, and the fan distribution has the Bills at 95%. Who do you got in this game? I'm actually curious to see if you will go with the Cardinals, because knowing you and knowing that you're down on the Bills, I am kind of expecting it, to be honest with you.
So, fun fact, folks. Sunday, they're at the time I wrote these games down in my notebook. Rain is projected for basically the entire East Coast, and just not like horrible rain, but rain, and that's never a great sign. And you know who really doesn't play well in rain games? It's really sloppy in them, some might say. Josh Gunslinger Allen. So, folks, you're darn right, Diesel. I'm pulling the trigger. I'm going the Arizona Cardinals in this game, in the upset of the week. Sunday's upset of the week. I don't know. I'm picking a lot of upsets this week, folks. I think it's going to be a crazy first week of NFL action. But yes, I like the Cardinals in this game. I think this is really, once again, I still believe this. There's only 4 coaches that get fired this year, but McDermott is one of them, because the Bills just absolutely crap the bed left and right. Folks, I don't know why people are so high on the Bills. I don't get it. And maybe I'm just wrong. And that's a possibility. I'm not like super smart about everything, but with everything they've lost and with nothing they've added, I don't understand. Like, I get that Josh Allen is a great quarterback. Like, he's definitely one of our like generation's best, but folks, we've seen what happens when Josh Allen is the only person on the team. Like, they don't win. Like, he starts freaking out and he starts fumbling the ball and throwing interceptions. It doesn't go well. And I think this is the first chink in that Bills armor. And Sean McDermott says something crazy at the press conference after the game. But yes, I think that Kyler Murray and them come into Buffalo and just win the game.
I am going with Buffalo, but not because Josh Allen is going to play hero. I feel like they're going to win this game because of their defense. I think it's going to be a loosey-goosey kind of game.
Loosey-goosey, baby. Loosey-goosey.
And it might be because weather-related, but I think that there's going to be some turnovers, and I feel like there's going to be some fumbles. But I think that when it comes down to it, overall, Buffalo has a better defense. And like I said, I don't feel like the offense is going to win this game for Buffalo. I feel like it's going to come down to the defensive side. And, Kyler is susceptible to turning over the ball. That's one thing you can definitely say about him, is he doesn't have the best ball control. Or I wouldn't say ball control, but fumbles every now and then, throws a pick here and there. Happens to the best of them, but see what happens. I got Buffalo.
Double gunslinger game in the rain. I'm once again really down on Buffalo this year.
I mean, let's see what Marvin Harrison Jr. can do week 1. And if he has a big game, they'll win. I think that you're right about that because I'm down on Buffalo this year too. I feel like I don't know why people are so high on them.
And especially without Matt Milano playing, like Trey Burton is an up and coming tight end in this NFL. Like, I don't know who's going to cover. Like, once again, I don't know the Bills roster depth enough to go, all right, now that this is the guy who's playing, but like, he's fast. And Matt Milano could have probably covered him, but I don't know who else is going to cover him on that team. And Kyler showed that he had a good rapport with him. So I'm also high on this Cardinals team and down on the Bills.
Next game, Sunday at noon, we have the New England Patriots traveling to the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are favored by 8 points with a 40.5 point over-under, and 97% of the fan distribution has Cincinnati. And I do too, for obvious reasons. It's a rebuilding year for New England. If Cincinnati loses this game, they have a lot of problems.
Yeah.
It's a fact. Like 8 points, only being favored by 8 points. I get that it's week 1, and this is actually the highest point differential.
It was 8.5 when I wrote it down, so it's actually gone down a little bit.
But I think that's crazy because I think if they don't win this game by 2 possessions, it's not a failure because, a win's a win, but you should probably take a deep look at yourself in the mirror and figure out what your problem is before you run into Baltimore, Miami, New York Jets.
The rest of the AFC.
Right? So, yeah, I got Cincinnati.
I wish I could say that this was another one of this would be the biggest upset of the weekend, without question, if I was to pick New England here. But I'm sorry, not a chance in hell. And I love me some Jacoby Brissett, and I've seen him win some crazy games when Tom Brady was suspended that he wasn't supposed to win. Don't get me wrong. Jacoby is a good to solid quarterback, all right? But once again, there is no offensive line in New England. And the defense, they're going to try. They'll hold them in the game. It's usually about 2.5 to 3 quarters that they can do it. But folks, the dam always breaks. And once that dam breaks, there's no going back. So, yeah, I can see that New England probably hangs in this game for a while. But then, yeah, I think by the end, Cincinnati easily covers. I'm not putting a lock on it or anything like that because that feels very dirty. And I only do that in situations where it's really obvious. But I have questions about Cincinnati because I'm worried about the fact Jamar Chase isn't practicing and that he is not going to play without a contract. And at the time of recording, he is still not signed a new contract with the Cincinnati Bengals. So that worries me. And I don't know who's playing running back. I know they signed Zach Moss, but they couldn't run the ball last year with Joe Mixon. So can they do it this year? I know they didn't have Joe Burrow last year, but we'll see. We'll see. There's question marks with the Bengals as well, but I think they win this game.
Joe Mixon did fine last year. He didn't have the greatest year in the world, but he had a good year. Chase Brown, when he was playing, made some noise, but he was injured a lot of the year. And yeah, I agree with Joe Burrow. That's another concern of mine because in his 4 years in the league, 2 of them, he spent the majority of them on the bench within an injury. So it's when he does play, this team is one of the top teams in the AFC, if not the top team in the AFC. But when he's not out there, it's a big difference. So he needs to stay on the field. And last year's injury was weird in that Thursday night game where all of a sudden he just couldn't throw the ball anymore. Yeah. Just lost it. But if Joe Burrow stays healthy this whole year, I don't see any reason why Cincinnati. They were going to put up a fight against Baltimore is basically what I'm trying to say. It's going to be I'm not confident with Baltimore winning the division if Joe Burrow's healthy all year long is what I mean. Yeah. Makes sense. Anyways, next game at noon, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars traveling to the Miami Dolphins. So let's go that far in the state matchup. Not in the division, though, which has always been weird to me. But
it's always weird.
Yeah. They have
Especially since they're both in the AFC. It would make more sense if they were, AFC, NFC, like Tampa Bay is at least in the NFC. So it makes sense they're not in the same conference. But yeah.
yeah. It's so weird to me. It always has been. But we have Miami with 3.5 point favorites, 49 point over under, and the fan distribution is 92% Miami. And I haven't fallen off the Miami bandwagon yet. I think that I don't like this matchup because I also think that Jacksonville's sneaky. Like I said last week, I do think that they're going to win the AFC South. And I could see them coming into Miami and spoiling the season opener for Miami. But also, I think Tua and Tyreek Hill are going to have monster games. I feel like this game is going to be a shootout and it's going to be fun. I hope that we get the Trevor Lawrence that we were promised before he came into the league, and he finally gets it this year and 100% is good. And I want to see some shootouts with him in them. So I'm hoping that's what this game is, but Miami is just stacked on offense, and I think that's why they're going to take her.
So, fun fact, when I wrote these games down, Miami was only favored by 3, and the over-under was at 49.5. So the hook just moved to Miami's actual score. Fun fact, once again, another rain game. Supposed to be hot and rainy in the Florida area. Doesn't really affect these two teams that much, though. They're both Floridian teams, so they're used to the hot, rainy weather. So I don't really care about that. I agree with Diesel that this is another shootout game. Not put any locks on it or anything like that, because I can also see both of these teams doing some really, really dumb things. And if it is raining out, just the Prince makes some bad decisions at times and can lose games very ugly, like if a couple things start going wrong. So give me Miami in this game. And I want to see some points scored. I hope that this first week of NFL action is just tons of points, just like the NFL wants. They don't want defense, they want points. So I'm also on the NFL side this time.
And speaking of that, I'm interested to see in real games, not preseason games, the kickoff. Because we see how it's going to work and everything like that, but I think that it's going to change once we start having real games. There's going to be strategy involved.
Yeah. Well, because you can have, I think it's like 2 or 3 players not on the line. Mm-hmm. And we just during the preseason, clearly everyone just showed the vanilla formation that they had. But I feel like people have some trickery that they're going to display, because if you just put everyone in a line and they get one good block, and the guys are so fast nowadays that I don't want the kicker being my last line of defense from a touchdown. And it feels terrifying. So yeah, I'm also very intrigued to see some real live game action kickoffs.
I am still upset about the onside kick rule, though. I feel like you should be able to do an onside kick whenever you want. I get it makes sense with the new formation of how you line up and everything like that, that you would have to declare an onside kick and can't do any more surprise onside kicks. But who really kicks an onside kick with the lead at the end of the game? So I don't know.
I still feel, I feel that you should have to be able, you could do it whenever you wanted. You have to declare it, obviously, but I feel like you should just be able to be like, I feel like doing an onside kick right now. We are still down by 10 points, and I just want to go for it.
And it's the third quarter. One shot. It's lame that you have to wait till the fourth quarter before you can do it at all. But but that being said, you really don't see very many onside kicks before the fourth quarter, unless it's at the half or just a surprise, and can't do the surprise anymore. So it is what it is.
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how this kickoff rule works. And if as I said in our predictions episode, I do think it will work the way the NFL wants, and we will have at least, 2 dozen, kickoff returns for touchdowns out there. I think we're going to average 1.5 a week.
Well, back to our regularly scheduled programming here. It's gotten that little tangent. My fault, but we have at noon the Minnesota Vikings traveling to the New York Giants. The Minnesota Vikings are favored by 1.5 points, 41-point over-under, and 72% fan distribution goes to Minnesota. Who you got in this game?
This is really the just biggest dud of the entire weekend for me. I could not give less shits about this game as a whole. I think both of these teams are competing for who's going to be, maybe with New England, who's going to get the first pick next year in the draft. So really, the real winner of this game is whoever loses it. So with that being said, I think Minnesota wins this game, because just because you put a beard on Daniel Jones, you ain't fooling me. You lost Saquon Barkley. Your defense was garbage all last year. And I have no belief in the Giants. And one of my coaches fired is the man behind the blue. So start losing now, buddy. Get fired before Thanksgiving. And then, maybe you can get a new team for the playoffs.
I mean, the nicest thing I have to say about the Giants this season is Brian Dable is looking good. He dropped some LBs and he's looking good. Other than that, I don't really have anything good to say about the Giants. Like almost any other matchup for Minnesota, I would be picking against them. I just think, like, when you put them against each other, Minnesota has Justin Jefferson. The Giants don't have anybody to match his caliber of a player. And I know they have some good young wide receivers. They just drafted Malik Neighbors, who they drafted last year. I can't remember his name, but he's young and promising. It's just who's throwing them the ball, who's running the ball, who's blocking for them, who's on their defense. Like, they're going to be bad this year. And Minnesota's not going to be good either, but they're going to be better than the Giants. And I got Minnesota.
God, why did the Giants pay Daniel Jones? I know that the Russell Wilson trade and everything is going to go down as one of the worst trades of all time, but this Daniel Jones contract has to go down as one of the worst contracts of all time, right?
Yeah, it was dumb. I don't understand. They could have got rid of him. They didn't have to sign him.
They did not have to sign him. They could have gotten out from under this. I just don't get it. I know he had a couple decent, to good years, but just wild.
It was all because of Saquon Barkley, because he had that resurgence, and the Giants were a surprise team and everything like that, but it had nothing to do with Daniel Jones, and everybody knew it all year long that he wasn't the reason the Giants were any good. I don't know. It's mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. And now they have to live with their decision.
Oh, what you reap, my brother, is what you sow.
And I'm not mad about it. I don't like the Giants.
Nope, not at all. Right there, buddies.
Our final noon game. Before I get to that, we can concur on the Giants, because the year the Patriots lost to the Giants in both those Super Bowls, they went into Lambeau Field both times and beat the Packers. So I'm right there with you. Okay, so
denied us the Packers-Patriots Super Bowl that we always were supposed to have. In one of those other multiverses out there, we have seen a Packers-Patriots Super Bowl multiple times over,
and
besides the one they lost.
We had to settle for a Packers Tampa Bay NFC Conference Championship just so we could get Rodgers versus Brady in an important playoff moment.
Yep.
Didn't go my way though. Still heartbroken. Last noon game on Sunday is the Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to the Atlanta Falcons, and Atlanta is favored by 3 with a 42-point over-under, and the fan distribution has Atlanta at 73%, which is low in my estimation, but I know who you're going with, Chad. So tell me why Atlanta's winning this game.
Well, folks, with the brand new debuting Raptor Lock of the Week. Yeah, that's right. Because they are not only, evolved from dinosaurs, but these birds of prey that I'm high on for this Super Bowl, I want to be able to put a lock on either of them, depending on who I'm more favorable for that week. And this week, it happens to be the Atlanta Falcons. Because you know what? Pittsburgh sucks. I mean, there's really not much else to say about this besides the fact that Pittsburgh, if they're not at home, kind of sucks. Russell Wilson sucks. Besides their coach, I don't like a lot about their team. I think Najee Harris might do pretty good. I don't think he'll do very good in this game, though, because the Falcons' run defense ain't no joke. And the Falcons are at home. Falcons play really well at home. And even if Kyle Pitts doesn't play in this game, what does it matter? He hasn't played in his first, 3 seasons anyway. So it's not going to change anything. Bijan Robinson is going to run up and down the field on these guys. And Kirk Cousins is going to throw to Drake London. I think Atlanta runs this game up. And we can go home by the third quarter. Raptor lock of the week.
About this game, Chad?
What?
It's a revenge game. Do you know who the offensive coordinator is for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yeah, I do. It is Arthur Smith.
Arthur Smith. And surprisingly, all his former players from the Falcons that came with him to the Steelers, they all made the team. I learned that from
It's really
Tom
weird.
Grassi.
Cordell Patterson's on the Steelers.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. I have Atlanta though. I'm not thinking.
I was getting real worried there for a second. You were going to pull a curveball on me.
I'm not dumb. Atlanta at home with a new head coach. Actually, at least I hope they are smart. The new head coach is smart enough to use Bijan Robinson. I drafted Kyle Pitts on one of my fantasy teams because I have high hopes that he also gets his number called. More. Atlanta is going to be pretty good this year. I don't know why. You're very high in Atlanta, and I more lean towards you than the majority of people who just think that since they're playing in the NFC South, they're not great. And I'm not as high in Atlanta as you. I don't have them in the Super Bowl, but I think that they're going to be a top tier team in the NFC this year. So I also have Atlanta. I don't think Pittsburgh's going to do much. And I also said in our prediction show that this is the first year that Mike Tomlin will finish under 500. And so he has to lose a lot of games to do so. And this is just one of them.
Yeah, it's going to be a great press conference after the game, though, when they just get run out the doors. Because Mike Tomlin, after a big loss, is always just gold left and right for his one-liners. So I can't wait to hear that.
The first 3:05 game we have on Sunday is the Denver Broncos traveling to the Seattle Seahawks. Turkeys, you say chickens, I say turkeys. I don't know why. I just wanted to change it up. I didn't want to say Hawks. Seattle is favored by 6, 42 over under, and Seattle has the fan distribution at 85%. And you know what? And this is my upset of the week. I'm going with Denver. You know why?
Because you believe?
Yes, I believe. I don't know. I have a feeling about this guy, man. I have a feeling that he's gonna do some special things with this team. And it's don't get my words twisted, but I'm gonna say it's Tebow-esque, not in the way he plays the game, but in the way there's going to be some magic thrown onto this team. So I think he's better than Tebow. I never thought Tebow was any good, even coming out of college. He was a college quarterback, but yeah, he was not an NFL quarterback. I think Bo Nix is an NFL quarterback, and I think he's going to give us a few good years in this league, and I think he's going to have a pretty solid rookie year, and I am down on Seattle this year. This is a rematch of the first game from 2 years ago. I remember it only because it was a Monday night game. It was Russell Wilson's first game as a Bronco, and he went into Seattle, and Seattle had that shocker win by 1 point. But that's not going to happen. It's going to be the opposite this year. Denver's going to shock everybody and come out as the winner of this game. Calling it right now.
I wish I could tell you you were wrong, Diesel, but I'm also a believer this weekend because I also have Denver winning this game. I am not as high on Denver as you are, but I am real down on Seattle this year. And I just didn't like any of the moves they made in this offseason. I don't love Geno Smith. I think they got rid of Drew Lock as well. I don't even know who their backup
Drew
is.
Lock is backing up Daniel Jones.
Yeah, so I don't even know who their backup is anymore. And don't get me wrong, I love DK. I love Tyler Lockett, but I love Tyler Lockett of like 2 years ago. Tyler Lockett's getting a little old. Jackson Smith and Jigbois, I mean, maybe he's good. He wasn't good last year. And their running back room is solid, but I think Seattle takes a massive step back this year and has to blow this team up.
But so they got a good defense too, with a defensive-minded coach. But I don't know who's running that offense, and I think that time has run out for Geno. He got his couple years in there where he got to be the starting quarterback, and he got to prolong his career. And I'm not saying he's done. I predicted him to be the backup for the Browns next year, but I think that this is his last year as a starter. And I don't know, I just feel like there's something special about this Denver team. Not going to say, like I said, they could finish under 500. Like every team besides the Chiefs in that division could, in my opinion. But I still feel like they're going to win 7 games at least. They're going to be better, and they're going to be trending in the right direction by the season's end. So I got Denver in this game for sure.
I think Sean Payton will do very well once again with another dink and dunk kind of quarterback. And like Drew Brees, like I'm not saying that Bo Nix is Drew Brees or anything like that, but if you look at the tape from Drew Brees as a Boilermaker to the way Bo Nix played at Oregon, I know Oregon's system was a much more fast-paced and gunslinger like type offense, but the way they threw the ball, very similar. And so I can see Sean Payton. I actually made a little bit of money off some of my compatriots at the bar I work at because I told everyone that Bo Nix would be drafted in the top 15 and no one would believe me. And I was like, guys, I promise you, he will not get past the Las Vegas Raiders. And I'd be shocked if he makes it past the Denver Broncos. And they're all like, nah. So I bet them all. And this is another thing. Russell Wilson won me a bunch of money back in the day when he won the Seattle job. So that's why I believe, because if you win me some money off of idiot people, and you're not actually idiots, folks, I just say that in a very heartfelt way, you become a guy that I like a lot more. So I believe for at least a little while. And I think Sean Payton does well with this guy, and I think it's a good pairing of the two of them.
Okay, well, moving on to our second and final 305 game. We have the Las Vegas Raiders traveling to the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers are favored by 3 with a 40.5 point over-under. 81% of the fan distribution is on the Chargers side. Who do you got? And I know why. I mean, I know who you got and why.
And probably why. But yeah, I'm agreeing with the fans here. Give me this LA Chargers team. And as another, this is the silver lock of the week. Sorry, folks, it's the first week that I'm doing this and have to make sure I say it right. Silver lock of the week. I'm eating those 3 points because you know what this Chargers team is going to do? They're going to get a lead and then they're going to run the ball down the throat of this Las Vegas Raiders team. And do you want to know how you stop a really good pass rusher? You run the ball down the middle and the throat of the defense. And Max Crosby, yeah, he's really, really good. But you ain't going to get to do anything when they're just running the ball down your throat left and right. And I just see the Chargers playing ball control offense. Gardner Minshew is, once again, just a dude that I would love to get a beer with and hang out with. He just seems just so fucking cool. But I don't think you're a starting quarterback in the NFL, dude. Like, I think you're a great backup and you're a great stopgap. But yeah, give me the Chargers in this game, running the ball down their freaking throats. And the new Harbaugh era in LA begins with a bang.
I also am taking the Chargers in this game because I think Antonio Pierce is over his head. Not his fault, though. I feel like management didn't do enough to give him a good team. Like, they decided what they have is good enough, and I disagree. I honestly do believe that Devontae Adams will be traded by the deadline, and if Aaron Rodgers is healthy, I almost guarantee you it will be to the Jets, and that will be a scary thought. I'll enjoy to see them playing together again, but that's beyond the point. I got the Chargers in this game because they have a good defense. Their offense is questionable to me. I mean, Herbert is good, but Herbert is also banged up already, and they haven't even played a game yet.
Hey, he's practicing without. He's out the boot. He's practicing.
He's already banged up though. It's just this guy is never healthy. His offensive line can't even keep him like healthy in practice. It's very worrisome. But I just feel like the Raiders are going to be that bad this year. They're going to be one of those teams you're talking about fighting for that number one pick. I think there's going to be more teams than we've ever seen. Like with like 5 weeks to go, like they have an opportunity to get this number one pick. I think, it's going to be weird. It's going to be, I don't think there's going to be much middle ground. I think there's going to be good teams, bad teams, like one or two teams in the middle. Like it's going to be interesting to see how wrong I am.
I agree with you as well. So we're both going to look like real idiots or real smart people at the end of the season. But I legitimately, when I did all of those picks for every game, I didn't find a game on the schedule that I thought the Raiders should just win like comfortably. Just as I was going through, like, I don't know what games they'll be favored in this year unless Gardner really like flips a switch and suddenly is just the mullet of a man that he is and looks like. And Devontae Adams suddenly just has a resurgence as well, but I just don't see it.
Next game, 3:25 on Sunday. We have Tom Brady's debut in the booth for the Dallas Cowboys traveling to the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland is favored by 2.5 with a 41-point over-under, but Dallas has the fan distribution at 68%. This is the only game of the week where the fan distribution does not agree with Vegas favorites. So who do you got in this game then?
Once again, oddly enough, I'm agreeing with the fan distribution. I have Dallas in this game. I think that Cleveland, once again, no belief in Deshaun Watson. I believe heavily in this Cleveland defense, but this Cleveland offense, I have next to no faith in at all. And don't get me wrong, I think Jerome Ford is probably a pretty good running back. And I think he could be a great, 1-2 punch with someone, but I don't think he's a starting running back. Deshaun Watson, he was the best quarterback in the NFL for 35 seconds, but the game has passed him by seemingly, and he does not look like the Deshaun Watson that we saw for that 35 seconds. I don't know what happened. I don't know if the game changed or if things on the off field just changed his mindset. I don't know. I don't get it. But Cowboys, I think they're going to win the East. Not because I think that they're far and away the best team in the NFC, but because I think the NFC East as a whole is kind of down this year. They win this game, though, but as a bonus lock, once again, folks, another supposed rain game. And it's just going to be kind of a nasty weekend, I think, on Sunday for the weather as a whole. And both of these defenses, boy, they like to cook. So I could see this being just a 17-14 slugfest where we don't get to see any scoring, but we see Dak Prescott and Dirty Man Magoo behind the Cleveland Browns just getting their face slammed into the mud left and right by both of these just nasty defenses. So as a bonus lock, give me the under, which, fun fact, has already fallen a point since I wrote this down, because I wrote it down at 42. So that means it's dropped an entire point. So the smart money is hitting that under. And I would hit it still at 41.
That's what she said.
Hit it still at 41.
I am also taking Dallas, and I don't have that much to add onto what you said. You make all the same points that I wanted to touch, especially taking the under. If I did like the color locks of the week, this would be my golden lock because of the fact I don't like Cleveland's offense that much. I mean, I'll like them better when Nick Chubb comes back, and if he can be even 75% of the running back he was before. I might be higher on their offense then, but right now I don't believe in Deshaun Watson. I don't believe in Dallas's offense either. They got Dak and CeeDee Lamb. I mean, they got Ferguson at tight end, but that's it. Like
Zeke Elliott is leading your backfield.
Dalvin Cook is washed. It's their offensive line is getting old. They're losing pieces to the offensive line through free agency as well. That's why I think this is going to be a defensive struggle because both defenses are really good. And I just don't see a lot of points being put up in this game. And I wouldn't be surprised to see if one of the defense puts up like 7 points. And that might be the difference in this game. But yeah, I also have Dallas, and I was thinking the same thing, like 17-14, maybe 20-14, something like that. So
yeah.
Our final afternoon game on Sunday at 3:25 is the Washington Commanders. I had to think about what
Commies.
Still can't remember anymore. I had to go through the list. Taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa Bay. The Buccaneers are favored by 3 with a 43.5 point over under, and the fan distribution has Tampa Bay at 87%. And even though I am high on Jaden Daniels, I think Tampa Bay is going to take this game because Baker's going to bake. Mike Evans. Mike Williams is different receiver.
Yes.
Mike Evans is, I don't know if this is going to be his first year where he doesn't get 1,000 yards. I mean, because 10 consecutive seasons, I mean, it's obviously a record, but like that is beyond impressive, and it's got to come to an end at some point. But it also got Chris Godwin, which makes it very plausible that Mike Evans does it again. They got Rashad White at running back. I like this Tampa Bay team. They're really sneaky, and a lot of people aren't very high on them. They're like, I don't know. I think they could be a sleeper in the NFC South. And if Atlanta falters at any point during the season, I wouldn't be surprised to see Tampa Bay like sneak up and maybe steal this division, kind of like Jacksonville did a couple years ago, or how Houston did last year. Like maybe they're that kind of team. But yeah, I got Tampa Bay in this game because I just feel like they're more of a complete team, and Washington is just learning who they are.
Fun fact, this is my only rookie QB I have losing this weekend, who is starting at least. Because yes, also give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Give me the cockroach Baker Mayfield in this game. Because it's also supposed to be another rain game. I already told you folks, it's going to be hot and muggy in the Florida area with lots of rain expected. And you know what? Baker Mayfield, he plays better the worse the situation is. It's, once again, that's why I call him the cockroach Baker Mayfield. And I say that with great respect, because cockroaches are one of nature's greatest achievements ever, all right? They're basically unkillable, all right? They're amazing. And that's what Baker Mayfield is. Could have on the Carolina Panthers, where careers go to die? Nah. He goes to the Buccaneers and makes something of himself after Tom Brady played there. But yes, I'm not even really talking about the game. I just think Tampa Bay wins this game. They're at home. I can see Jane Daniels doing a few flashy things, but he's a rookie, and in a rookie reign debut, I can see with a running quarterback, a couple loose balls falling, and the Tampa Bay defense is nothing if not opportunistic. So I can see a couple defensive scores from Tampa Bay to really put this game away. So give me Tampa Bay.
Now, we've been waiting all day for Sunday night, and we got a real heavyweight fight this time. The NFL actually gave us a couple treats to end our week. Usually, it seems like sometimes they give us a couple duds at the end of the. Like, remember for a long time, it was always like the Chargers and Raiders playing on Monday Night Football.
Always.
It's like, when they were bad too, it's like, come on. But
that's because they also put the game at like 10 o'clock. And don't get me wrong, I loved that start time because then you had the actual true two Monday night games where the first one started at 7.
True.
And then just as that one got over, then the Chargers and the Rams would kick, or Raiders would kick off. That was the best part.
The Chargers and Raiders game would always have Chris Berman as the announcer. So that was also cool because he rarely announced. So
yeah, and you could watch it at the bar, and it would go till 1 a.m. It was awesome.
You could hear him say the Raiders and the San Diego Superchargers. Anyways, moving on. This game is a heavyweight fight. Like I said, it's a rematch of the wild card round. We have the Los Angeles Rams and Matthew Stafford traveling back to Detroit. Yeah, Detroit is favored by 3.5 with a 51-point over-under. Highest over-under out of all the games this week. And the fan distribution has Detroit at 90%. Like, this game is kind of like Carolina, New Orleans, or Tennessee, Chicago, but the opposite. Like, it's hard to pick because, like, these teams are both too good. You know?
Yeah, how the hell is the fan distribution at 90%? That's like, don't get me wrong. I know that I'm super high on the Rams and everything like that.
We're on the upside down too, if you think about it, because it's 90% for the Lions.
Yeah, what the hell? I am shocked by that statistic, legitimately. I clearly I could say right away, I'm going with the Rams.
You are?
You want me to go first? I am all in on the Los Angeles Rams this year. And I picked Baltimore to beat Kansas City. And so what I'm about to say about a heartbreaking loss, everyone's going to say, oh, why didn't you, say that about the Baltimore Ravens? Well, because, folks, Baltimore gets to play that team that they had that heartbreaking loss to. So it's not a heartbreaking loss game. It's a revenge mother effing game for them. This game, Detroit is not only coming in here off of a just devastating loss to the San Francisco 49ers for a chance to go to the Super Bowl, but also Matthew Stafford is coming back into his old home where he got knocked out of the playoffs last year on what should have been Aaron Donald's last farewell run. So I think Matthew Stafford comes into this game with a fully healthy Cooper Kupp, and they come in here and send a message to the rest of the NFL. So with the first golden lock of the year, put it on the LA Rams. Hey, if you're not as confident as I am, you can just take them at plus 3.5 because they're definitely not losing this game by more than a field goal. But if you're as confident as I am, you take that money line and you ride with Matthew Stafford as he walks into Detroit and stomps on the poor little kitty's paw. And Dan Campbell gets a first loss of the year.
So, like I said, this is a heavyweight fight. And I expect this to go all 12 rounds. But unlike in boxing, we get overtime. I am 100% predicting this game to go into overtime. And I have the Lions coming out on top just because they get the ball first and the Rams are tired and they just drive down the field and score a touchdown. I feel like this is going to be a great game. This is going to be one for the ages, and this game we're going to be talking about all season long. I also kind of feel like Matthew Stafford might have sold his soul to the Detroit Devil to get out of there. So he kind of owes them. So every time he faces them, it's a guaranteed loss. I just have this like suspicion.
Interesting.
The Detroit Devil got him that Super Bowl, so he owes them. He owes them this at least. But yeah, I think that this is going to be a great football game. Might be the best of the entire week, and I'm excited. I'm so glad that it's on Sunday Night Football, because even though I love watching Red Zone, like games like this are fun to watch when it's just this game is on and nothing else, and that's all you're focused on. So it almost feels like a playoff game in week one, which is awesome.
It's exciting.
But moving on to Monday Night Football, could potentially, depending on who you talk to, could be a preview of this year's Super Bowl. We have the New York Jets traveling to the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers are favored by 4 with an over-under of 44, and 91% of the fan distribution has the 49ers. I'm picking the 49ers, but I feel like 91% is a little high. It kind of makes me want to go against that pick. I just feel like being at home, the whole time zone thing, Monday Night Football, I think that it's going to be another shootout game. Even though both these teams have really good defenses, I think offense is going to be on display. I think that the one thing that the Jets could not do last year on defense was stop the run. And the 49ers have a really good running attack with Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel. I think that that's going to put the Jets back on their heels. But I think Aaron Rodgers, barring he doesn't suffer another Achilles injury, is going to play like Aaron Rodgers. And he's going to knock the rust off in the first quarter, and he might not be Aaron Rodgers of 2020, 2021 MVP Aaron Rodgers, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him in like some of his best seasons number wise, and the way he plays. I mean, like the pieces around him are too good. They've added to the offensive line. They have Breece Hall. They drafted Braylon Edwards at running back. I know it sounds like I am talking up the Jets and I'm going to pick them, but I already said I'm picking San Francisco, and this is one of those games where it's either going to be a defensive game or it's going to be an offensive game, but I'm leaning towards offense just because that's what the NFL wants. It's on prime time, last game of the week. I think it's risky putting Aaron Rodgers back on Monday Night Football.
Could be risky, very risky.
But at least they're playing on real grass. So there's that. Yeah, I don't have much else to say, and I know that you're picking the Jets, so tell me why.
You are correct, Diesel. I am 1,000% picking the New York incarnations of the devil, Jets. Because you know what? Joe Namath might have sold his soul to the devil way back in the day to get the Jets their Super Bowl. But you want to know what? Aaron Rodgers might be on enough crazy ayahuasca trips that maybe he went and had a chat. Maybe they made a new deal. So the Jets might be able to get a couple wins this year, because I think Aaron Rodgers really hated blowing out his Achilles last year. So I'm sure he's willing to deal. But really, reasons that I'm picking the Jets to win this game is because the San Francisco 49ers' biggest weakness, without question, is their secondary. And you know what? Garrett Wilson, even without having a competent quarterback, has been ripping people up in this NFL. And this year, you're right. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to suddenly be the MVP that he was, a few years ago. But you want to know what I think he's going to be? A whole hell of a lot better than anything else that's played in the New York Jets uniform for a long, long, long effing time.
The last good quarterback they had, Chad Pennington.
Yeah. I can't say you're wrong on that.
Brett Favre, I guess. He was after it. But
aging Brett Favre. And he was there for 1 year and hurt the whole time. Garrett Wilson on the outside, a fully healthy Breece Hall in the backfield. I mean, I think this Jets team could cook, and I am a big believer in them this year. And I see them, if they do win this game, which I 100% think they will, I could see the Jets starting 7-8-0. If you really look at their first opening, like 10 weeks, even if they win this first game, it's hard to look at any of those games and go, yeah, I could see them. Like, obviously, fluky things happen, but they'll be favored in every game for the first 8 weeks. So I got the Jets winning this game. And as another bonus primetime lock, I will take those points. But once again, folks, I'm not taking the points. I'm riding the money line. But if you're not as confident, this Jets team definitely will not be losing this game by more than a field goal. So if you can get them +4, like that's free money. Like Aaron Rodgers will keep them in this game. Like he is chomping at the bit. He is eating them mushrooms. He is ready to go, man. He is seeing colors that you don't even know.
Hopefully it's green and white, not red and gold, or whatever what color that is. Yeah. So that's all the games we got this week. I did do a count of how many we have different, and there's 5.
What'd I miss?
We have 5 different. We have New Orleans, Carolina different, Houston, Indy different. There was one more. Buffalo, Arizona different.
Oh,
Detroit, yeah. Los Angeles Rams different, and San Francisco Jets different.
Nice.
So yeah,
I'm trying to write them down.
There will be after week one of us will be in the lead guaranteed, unless there's a tie in one of those games that we have different. Then that'd be awkward. I shouldn't have said that. Damn it. Just like 2 years ago, starting out with a tie week 1, that was horrible.
Houston and Indy are going to be the tie again.
Yeah, right? Oh, I hope not. But you're probably right.
But they tie in like a 51-51 game. Like they score over 100 points. It looks like a college score.
I mean, that'd be kind of cool, actually.
Like
they're just so good that neither of them can beat each other because they're just too good.
Yeah. And Anthony Richardson puts up 1 billion points, and I throw it in Tommy's face.
There most likely will be a leader next week in our little, just between you and I and our points or our picks, records, whatever. I don't know. It's show's over.
Better fun.
I've already been paid. I got my check. I'm out of here. So yeah, do you have any final thoughts for week 1?
I am just so jacked for NFL to be back. I know how quickly it goes every year, so I'm just going to try and enjoy it because, yeah, before we know it, we're going to be talking about playoffs and it's going to be over. It's baseball and NBA and NHL, all of them are just so long, and football is just an 18-week sprint for the regular season, and then you get 6 weeks for the playoffs. Like, it's wild. It's just crazy. It goes really fast.
I'm so glad I get my friend Scott Hansen back. The first week of Red Zone is always like a shock to the system because like it's almost like an overload of football. It's like everything's just being thrown at you. It's like whoa. It takes like a minute to like acclimate, but once you get back into the groove, there's nothing better than Red Zone. I am excited for the Thursday game. I'm excited obviously for the Friday game. Go Pack Go. But Sunday, like, I'm just excited to veg out all day and watch some NFL football. I can't believe that we're finally here. I mean, this offseason went by crazy fast as well, which is scary because that means my life is going by faster than I wanted to. That's a topic for a different show. I'm just going to end this one.
Existential crisis for a different day.
Yes. I'm going to end this one. So, if you're watching this on YouTube, please be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share with all your friends. If you're listening to us in audio form, do the same thing, like, subscribe, share, whatever, and all the platforms. I'm not going to list them off because I don't have to, because why?
Hey, get in the comments as well. Who's your sleeper team of the year?
Yeah, it's great. It's a great suggestion, Chad. I should have thought of that one myself. That's what I have you for. But yeah, so thank you for joining us again for week 1 predictions. It's gonna be a wild ride all season long, but until we meet again next week, I have been Diesel, he has been Chad, and finally, let's watch some football.
Bye.
This has been a Visionaries Global Media production. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.